all right. Everybody, calm down. All right. I know that you've been dying, just absolutely dying to hear this episode and my opinions on football. I should probably introduce myself. I am your host, Tristan Terrell, and this is Fourth and a Mile. This is a football, well, sports podcast where I voice my very bad sports opinions and you sit and listen to them. Um, most likely because your sports opinions aren't any better, or equally as stupid. But that's the cool thing about opinions is everyone has one, and most of the time, believe it or not, they all suck. All right, so let's just get that out of the way there. I'm gonna say stuff that you don't agree with. You're gonna think stuff that I don't agree with, even though I won't be able to hear it necessarily unless you find me in a comment section somewhere. But yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I'll say my thing, and you guys listen, and you know, I guess judge me how you see fit. But this is Fourth and a Mile. Um, I am your host, Tristan. We'll go over this again. A little bit about myself. I grew up in a small town, grew up in a small town, still live in a small town in South Dakota. Um, it sucks. It for sure sucks here. Just kind of like it for sure sucks everywhere else. Um, I wouldn't recommend anyone move here. I wouldn't recommend anyone live here. Um, I wouldn't recommend that anyone, if they can, if it's possible, uh, have their family avoid moving here at all costs. It's terrible. But somehow through all that, I grew up in Nebraska. Now I live in South Dakota. Um, Somehow through all that, became a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Don't ask me how how a small town kid from Podunk town in the Midwest becomes an Eagles fan. I saw Brian Dawkins highlights on YouTube, and yeah, he was my favorite player. And I didn't have like a team or anything. I was just like, oh man, he's out there doing some pretty cool shit. So yeah, then the Eagles became my favorite team by default. So um, yeah, let's take a look here and go over just some quick stories in the news. We'll start out by addressing the Eagles' lack of free agency moves, or lack of, I should say, perceived free agency moves. Because it's not that we haven't signed anybody, it's just that we've resigned very well, I say anybody. I see two people that we've resigned. Zach Bond, obviously, best linebacker this year, hands down. I don't want to hear anybody argue. And then we re-signed a fullback by the last name of Van Sumeren, and I think his first name is Ben. I'm not sure. I do know the last name. I do know he's been on our team for. I think he's been on the team way back when we won our first Super Bowl back in 2018. So, I mean, that's good to see. You love to see familiarity with your practice squad base players. The I see that we signed AJ Dillon from the Packers, and he sat out most of last season with a neck injury, but I see that he has been cleared by the top neck specialists. That could be taken one of two ways, but we're going to be mature about it, and um, he should be good to go. He should be ready to back up Saquon. His thunder thighs will help us on the tush push always. We always use a couple extra yards on that because people hate it when we run it. We signed our I won't want to say our rivals, but the nemesis. Our nemesis is old Nemesi. I don't know how you say that. Josh Uche used to play defensive end for the Chiefs, and now he is coming to Philly. So I don't know as though he is really prepared. I mean, I would think that now he's on our team, we would as a fan base welcome him with open arms, just like we have everybody else. But he did play for the Chiefs, and I cannot think of a more hated sports team that I have witnessed in my life than this Chiefs dynasty. I mean, the Patriots got a lot of hate, don't get me wrong, but like, there's something about Patrick Mahomes that people just viscerally react to. They just do not like him, which I can't say that I am not one of those people. It's not that I don't like him, it's just I think he's kind of a stuck-up prick. That's not my problem. Whatever. It's my opinion. But we go to the flip side of moving players off of the roster, and this is where Eagles fans were getting really, really nervous. Well, still are really nervous, I guess. Josh Sweat, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Oren Burks, Kenneth Gainwell, Darius Slay, Milton Williams, all those players, minus Gainwell, I guess, really. Um, all starters, all played significant snaps for us this season. Um, they obviously formed the best defense in the NFL. It just really sucks to see five of your 11 cornerstone starters with two of them being cornerstone players in my opinion. Walking, which I get Slay, he's getting a little old, so we can't really you can't really pay a 34-year-old corner. I guess I don't know if he's 34. I think I saw that somewhere. Cite my source, I guess, if you can find it. CJ sucks. I really liked him. I really love the energy he brings to the defense. He's one of those guys that you hate it when he's on the other team, but you love it when he's on your team. And Eagles know CJ he is that player more so than any other player that I think that we've had besides like T.O., I guess. But we played in the Super Bowl his first year. Didn't want to accept a contract in Philly, and then went to Detroit. I think he got hurt, and then came back like towards the end of their playoff push last season, and then yeah, came back to Philly, and it is what it is. Do what it do. There are two players that I want to bring up that are possibly not going to be on the team next season. That is Dallas Goedert, which that hurts my heart. I love Dallas. He is one of my favorite players on the team. Um, and Mekhi Becton, a tackle, which really good offensive linemen are, I don't want to say they're hard to find, but they're hard to keep because they know their worth. And I'm not saying that Becton has become, a top tier offensive lineman just off of one season, paving the way for 2000, 2K Saquon. Um, but there does, he did walk away from this season knowing what a winning team looks like, and he's going to take that knowledge into another locker room if we don't bring him back. And I mean, there's obviously players that have won Super Bowls on other active teams. It's not like they're always stay with the team they win the Super Bowl on, or Super Bowl with, but it just really sucks to see part of that recipe go to another locker room. But with all of that being said, it looks like if the statistician that I hired, which is myself, is correct, we have 8 picks in the first through the fourth round over the next 2 years combined. Which, wait, no, that's not right. I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna figure that out. But moral of the story, we have a lot of draft picks, and draft picks equal good players because not every good player gets drafted, but a lot of the players that are in today's NFL that we love and know and buy their jerseys and their football cards, they came from the draft. So I mean, yeah. In Howie we trust. That's all I gotta say. In Howie we trust. He's got us to the Super Bowl twice in the past 3 years. He won us our first one. I mean, in Howie we trust. Till he absolutely like blows up the team. In Howie we trust. All right, moving on to other news stories. Well, news. We're just gonna go over specifically the quarterback situations in the NFL. Um, Me being an Eagles fan, I don't have to worry about it. You guys can say that Jalen Hurts is, oh god, he can't throw a ball. I referenced the 2022 Super Bowl where he flat out outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Okay, 308 to 188. Like that's yards. And Jalen had, I think, 4 combined touchdowns. So let's not even get it twisted here. Not that Patrick is a bad quarterback, but Jalen is nowhere near as bad as everyone loves to fucking say that he is. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way now. All right. So, kind of the two headliners over the past week or so, Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, they are in search of new homes. And um, it looks like the fan bases that are shivering in their boots appear to be the Giants and the Steelers, which I cannot pick two. I guess I don't really have a problem with the Steelers fan base other than they're in Philly and in Pennsylvania, and there can only be one good team in Pennsylvania. Sorry. And I can't stand the Giants, so I really hope if I had to decide these guys' careers for them from this point, ah, it's actually kind of a toughie because I mean, I want Wilson to go to the Giants just because I don't think Wilson's that great, and the Giants are a 2 pack of ass, so that's not going to work out for them, and it's a division rival. That'd be 2 free wins a week. But you also have Rodgers go to the Steelers. You have to deal with all them fucking yinzers talking about how, oh, Steelers to the Super Bowl, baby. Okay, okay. So that's what I would do, I guess. I would go Wilson to the Giants and Rodgers to the Steelers. Um it's not that I have an issue with Rodgers. It's kind of a sucky situation to put it bluntly. I don't consider either of these teams coming out on the winning side if they sign these quarterbacks. Honestly, it's like I said, it's not that I don't like Rodgers. I really don't care for Wilson. Um and you can kind of see Rodgers come back a little bit after, like, at the end of last season. And the Jets being the Jets, they're not going to do any favors for any of their, any of the players on their roster. Um, so yeah, it's just yeah, we'll go Rodgers to the Steelers, Wilson to the Giants. And then so speaking of Giants, former Giants quarterback, Danny Dimes, Danny Jones to the Colts. Now, if you look at the Colts QB room, uh, there is approximately two bad quarterbacks in that room. I don't know if they have a third, but there are two bad quarterbacks in that room now. Okay, there's Jesus Christ, Anthony Richardson, and now you have Danny Jones. Okay, so let's take a little meander back to last season, and let's see which of the quarterbacks had. I'm gonna just type this in on my computer now, just so I don't look like an idiot. But we're just gonna find out lowest quarterback rating 2024 season NFL, because yeah, that matters. Lowest QB rating. No, QB rating. Thank you. All right. 2024 season leaders. I did not expect to see Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. Okay, so we're here on the page. We are looking at the quarterback ratings. Lamar Jackson is chilling, and Josh Allen are chilling. They both have 77.3, tied for best in the NFL. No worries there. We scroll down. We scroll down. Okay. Anthony Richardson, 47.4. Daniel Jones, 47.8. Now, I'm not an NFL GM. I'm not a coach. I'm not an assistant. I'm a nobody. But that don't make no fucking sense to me. Like, I get it. QBs have bad seasons. But, like, okay, so you drafted Richardson. Sure. He's going to be your guy, right? Get it. Got it. Good. Okay. So you bring in Joe Flacco because he's going to be the mentor to the young stud. Sure. Get it. Okay. So then you march Anthony Richardson out there and he can't fucking play football. So what do? Oh, we got Joey Flacco. Joey Flacco chilling on the bench. He's going to save our season. What does he go out there? Shit the bed. Okay. So then you go and you sign an equally as shit the bed quarterback. And then you're just like, okay, so now we're a playoff team. All right. That's okay. Okay, Indianapolis. That's not my pig, not my farm. Have fun with your 3-12 season or whatever it equates to nowadays. All right. So we hop over to the other New York team. I kind of went back and forth. So the Jets have signed Justin Fields. I think this is a very, very interesting move. I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of Justin Fields, but I'm a fan of what Justin Fields could be if he were able to put it all together because he is like, I'm not going to say he would be Michael Vick, but I mean, he'd be Michael Vick with like 50 extra pounds. Like I wouldn't want to tackle him once he gets it figured out. Like yeah, he can run and bully ball around as a quarterback, but like when it gets dangerous is when your quarterback can play bully ball and then he can also figure out how to throw the ball because we saw that with Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen his rookie season couldn't hit the broadside of a fucking barn, and now look at him. What was that? Let's go back to the QB rating. So the second best in the NFL, or tied for first technically. So yeah, tied for first. So I just I don't know. I The Jets are a very poor team for Fields to go to. I think, unless they are really starting to turn shit around over there. I don't think they are. But it's I don't think it's an upgrade career wise for him. I mean, he went from the Bears to the Steelers, which is excuse me, massive upgrade. And then you go from the Steelers to arguably the most dysfunctional fucking front office in the NFL in the New York Jets. So I don't really know what I mean, he got a bag, obviously. I think he's getting paid like $30 million or something like that. So that probably he had 30 million reasons to go play in New York. I guess I should stop talking shit. So I will. We will jump over to the other side of the country. We're going to go see what's going on in rainy Seattle, and it looks like they are getting a new ginger-headed quarterback named Sam Darnold. And I think this is a poor move. So you go from Sam Darn or from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold. Now, I'll give you that Sam Darnold is quite a bit younger, but Geno Smith has also proven to be a decent starting quarterback over the past couple of seasons, whereas Sam has only played one season under a coach who I don't want to say he's like a QB whisperer, but like it seems like his quarterbacks always um outperform expectations. I mean, he got Kirk paid, he got Sam paid. I mean, I think their move is to go with JJ McCarthy and keep him as their franchise guy if he's able to pan out. But I mean, that's it's able if he's able to pan out. So yeah, Smith went from Seattle. Geno Smith went from Seattle. He got traded to the Raiders, which the Raiders the Raiders need some assistance, bro. They need a lifeline. They need something to do because it's just I've never seen a team be so like goated at being mediocre to piss poor. Like they're the best bad team of all time. Like, well, I say of all time, but you got the Browns. I mean, the Raiders and the Browns, if it's not one, it's the other. It's they're interchangeable except the colors. That's all I'm concerned about. I mean, it's the same team just in Vegas. And Zach Wilson going to Miami is also another quarterback move that was made. And it's another one that I am not sure I agree with. Now, maybe I'm just cynical. Maybe I'm just pessimistic. Maybe I'm just holding every other quarterback to Jalen Hurts' standard. I don't know. But if you have a quarterback in Tua, right? He's been your starter for like what 3 or 4 seasons now. I don't know. I'm not a big Dolphins fan. I couldn't tell you. I know he got drafted there, and I know he hasn't went anywhere else. Couldn't tell you what year. But I do know that he has had like more concussions than most, like in the past 2 seasons than most people have in their lives, which I saw the game where he went into the fencing position. I mean, I'm sure it's not the only time he's went into that position after a hit, but look, I guess I can't remember who they were playing, but he got thrown down, hit his head, he did that whole fencing thing and was out like the rest of the season. Or maybe not the rest of the season, but he was out for a while. So then they have, I think the guy's name was Sky Moore. No, not Sky Moore. Skylar Thompson. I think that was his name. He ended up starting a playoff game for him because their starting quarterback had a concussion. Now I get it. I understand. I'm not at all, not even in the slightest, victim blaming Tua Tagovailoa here. But if you go to a job, if you at your job, you're 9 to 5, Mister Average Joe, at your 9 to 5, if you were more likely than not to get a concussion walking in the front door at that specific job, wouldn't you just go work like a kind of a related field type job? Like Tua doesn't have to be a quarterback. Like I understand that's what he wants to do, and I get it. I'm totally not, trying to ruin that for him, but it seems his own body is. He could be a coach. He could be a quarterback coach. He could be a motivational speaker. He could be a advocate for. I think he's from Samoa, or he's Samoan. He could be an advocate for Samoan culture or something like that. I don't know. I'm just saying, bro. You don't have to go to work, and you don't have to walk away with brain damage every day. That's not a. It's not like it's a requirement to be in the NFL is to have a concussion. It's you play and you actively try to avoid them, and then if you can't, you medically retire because we've seen players do that. Not maybe not necessarily with concussion. Well, no, there was that one guy, Borland for the Niners. He was worried about his neck. He retired early. Look at him. Couldn't tell you what he's done with his life, but he's still alive, I assume. not making a very good, not making a very good argument for this, but I mean, it just at some point Tua's got to realize like he's not gonna like remember where he put his keys. He's not gonna remember his wife's name. He's not gonna remember how old his kids are, and I think that's really gonna suck for him. But what do I know? He's the one making millions playing a fucking kids game. So obviously he has it figured out, and I don't, which is why I'm sitting here talking about it on a podcast. So with that, I think we are going to wrap up the first episode. I truly hope you enjoyed. I don't have any socials for the podcast yet because it hasn't taken off, and I don't really. It's not that I don't want it to take off. It's just I don't really see a need for a social media account on any other website aside from like maybe Spotify or YouTube. Um, but if it takes off, I mean, believe me, I will be jumping all over that to get this, off the ground and get it started because this is what I want to do, I think. And if you guys can help make it possible, that would be amazing. I'm not saying by any means that you are obliged or required or, obviously you're not required to do anything for me. You don't even know me. Um, but just so you know, I do appreciate any and all views, any and all discourse, any and all everything that you guys want to do with this. I would really like to continue doing these and take you on that journey with me. So with that, I'm going to sign off and we will see you when the chains turn over.